Hello everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to Join Jackie Mondays at 10. I am running a little bit late this morning, forgive me for that. Today's topic is about when you're doing estate planning and if you have someone who is disabled or is an otherwise vulnerable beneficiary and you want to leave them something and how to do that. And when I say vulnerable beneficiary, it's often someone who has a mental health problem, has a drug and alcohol problem, has a gambling problem. So those sorts of things really. Now, it also depends on the level of someone's disability as well as to what we can sort of do in terms of providing inheritance to them, but it's certainly not something that you need to automatically think that you need to exclude someone. And this can also include thinking about people who are on a pension, whether it's a disability pension or not, because we don't necessarily want them to lose their pension if they are a beneficiary. Now, last week I did a short video on testamentary trusts, which is also relevant here because there are three main sorts of trusts that we can set up in a will if you have a disabled beneficiary or a vulnerable beneficiary. Now, the level of the disability is relevant. So a special disability trust is a wonderful form of trust, but it's only available to someone who is fairly badly disabled. So if someone's on a disability pension, but it is for mental health or something like that, and they're not at the level where they can't work for more than, I think, 12 hours a week and need assisted accommodation as well, which is quite a sort of higher threshold for them to be eligible for a special disability trust. So if they are eligible for that, it's a really great option because you can have about 500,000 in there without Centrelink counting it as an asset for that person. So you can provide an inheritance for someone with a disability to look after their basic care needs and their housing without them having to lose their pension, basically. So that's one good option. Now, for vulnerable beneficiaries generally, for someone who is really bad at managing their money, mentally unwell, potentially drug or alcohol problems, gambling problems, those sorts of things. A protective trust might be also something that is considered. So the capital is invested for them of their inheritance, but they're only entitled to the income of it. So whatever their inheritance might earn gives them a trickle feed of money, but they never get a big, huge amount of cash that they could either waste on drugs or alcohol or gamble it all away immediately. So a protective trust may be something to consider. Again, another form of testamentary trust. Or the third option is a testamentary discretionary trust, which is sort of what we spoke about last week. If you want to go back and have a look at that video, a testamentary discretionary trust has far more flexibility around it. So depending on if someone is not disabled enough for a special disability trust, or you don't want to lock it away for their whole life, you're like, well, you know, if they sort of get on their feet after, you know, a certain amount of time, then they should be able to have access to the capital of their trust as well. You could look at some form of amended discretionary trust where you have other people managing the money for them and it's at their complete discretion, and the vulnerable person is a beneficiary but not actually entitled to anything in particular. It's all at the discretion of the people looking after that money. So that may also be another problem, another way of getting around it. But the problem that it arises is that that trust might also go for a long time, and the people having to manage that trust, it could be a fair bit of a burden. So thinking about those things are important as well. So there you are. bit of information about doing your estate planning when you have a potential beneficiary who is either disabled or vulnerable, and what we can do around that. I hope that that's helpful. If you think it would be helpful for someone you know, if they have a disabled adult child, or someone who is struggling with a drug or alcohol problem, might be something that you could share this video with them. You can share it by sending it to them personally on Messenger, which is far more private, or you can tag someone's name in the comments underneath. These videos, while live, do get saved onto the page, so they're all there in a list of all the videos that you can go back and watch at any time. So, thank you very much. Hope you have a great week. I'll catch you again next Monday. See ya.